shareholder with approximately 7% of the company's stock.
Steve Jobs.
In January 2007, Apple entered the smartphone business with the introduction of the iPhone. It included a touch display, all the features of an iPod, and an internet browser. It was a complete rebuke of the entire smartphone market, which had been fixated on adding more buttons, more features, and more styluses. But all those things came at the detriment of the user experience. That's why Steve Jobs used this graph while introducing the iPhone. The Moto Q, Nokia E62, and Palm Treo were more capable than the average cell phone, but those extra features added complexity. The iPhone set out to deliver the best of both worlds, the most feature-filled phone ever, while also being the easiest to use. And it all started by eliminating what Steve Jobs had loathed throughout his entire career: buttons. The iPhone had a huge multi-touch display with only one button. That way, the interface could change depending on which app was being used, an approach that had worked well on computers for decades. There was also pinch to zoom, physics-based effects like inertial scrolling and rubber banding, and multitasking that allowed users to seamlessly switch from music to phone calls to web browsing to email and back. The first generation iPhone may be considered primitive by today's standards with its 2-megapixel camera, small display, and thick frame. But the original iPhone single-handedly began the modern smartphone era, with nearly all of today's devices borrowing its design and functionality elements. On June 28, 2007, the iPhone finally went on sale after 5 months of anticipation, and the excitement resulted in lines forming outside Apple stores across the country 2 days before the product's release. The iPhone was nothing short of a success, with 250,000 units being sold on its first day. Smartphone makers went back to the drawing board to develop multi-touch devices that could compete, and Apple went back to work on their next model, the iPhone 3G. In January 2009, Jobs issued a memo informing Apple employees where he admitted, quote, that my health-related issues are more complex than I originally thought. And he took a 6-month medical leave of absence, leaving Tim Cook in charge of Apple's day-to-day operation, as he did in